Hello and welcome to Season 2 of the Road End podcast. Each episode we will speak to a new guest, get to know them and hear their stories about Liverpool Football Club.
Hi everyone and welcome to Season 2 of the Road End podcast. Today I'm joined by former Red Lee Peltier. Lee has gone on to play over 500 times in the Football League, including the Premier League, Championship and League One. Okay, thanks for joining, Lee. How are you, mate?
I'm all good, thanks, mate. Thanks for asking me to come on.
No, it's no problem. So we're getting as many Liverpool coaches, players, things like that on. So it's good to have you on. I want to get into the first things about your Liverpool career. I won't go too much into all of your Liverpool stuff because I know your career's been. I've been looking through then. I can't believe how long you've been around because you're making me feel old now. So when did you first sign for the club?
I signed for Liverpool when I was about 9 or 10. I signed from Tranmere. I was at Tranmere first. I was only there for a brief spell, but I think Liverpool spotted me at Tranmere, and I was playing for the Liverpool schoolboys as well. And then signed from there.
Okay, so when did you get a call, or was someone approaches when you were playing?
It was a bit mad. I can't really remember that much, but I know there was people coming to my house and that at the time, like to speak to my mum. But I had clubs. I had like Everton and all other clubs coming to the house and that. So at the time, it was just like which club I wanted to go to.
I assume you was a Red when you was a kid then.
Yeah. I've always, all the family, everyone, we've always been Reds.
And when you come through the ranks at the academy and stuff, you made your debut. Was that at Reading in the Cup?
Yeah, at Anfield. Yeah.
How did you find out that was going to happen?
I think like a few. Obviously, it was the cup game, so always a few youngsters would get asked to go up and train with the first team, and I got asked to go with a couple of the other lads. And I think it was about 2 or 3 days before we started like training with them and that. And like when he was doing the team shape and I thought, bloody hell, got a chance here. And then he pulled me and said, like, you're going to play, which was great. I was made up.
They had a decent team though, Reading, didn't they, back in the day?
They did, yeah. I remember they had like Leroy Lita. I think Shane Long was playing as well in that game as well.
Sidwell.
A couple of the old Sidwell, a couple of the old schoolers, yeah.
How was it playing in the Ataturk?
The Ataturk was amazing. Honestly, like, so look back at it now, it's so surreal. You know, obviously I'm getting to the end of my career now and I've been looking back at it. That sort of stuff that I achieved when I was younger, like no one can take that away from me. It's one of the proudest moments for me and my family. I absolutely loved it. Unbelievable.
Well, what was it like to play under Benitez? Because I've had a few players on from like your generation of the team at Liverpool, and I get mixed bags.
Yeah.
Obviously, the local lads are a bit, I'd say, a bit different compared to like the lads who are from Europe and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, he was all right. He was okay. Didn't really interact with him that much. He kept himself to himself, sort of thing, and he was a man on the pitch, like done his talking on the pitch, like tactically and stuff like that. Weren't really like where you can build a relationship with them, like how are you, what you're doing tonight or anything like that. Everything was just football. But I didn't really spend that much time with him. But even the time I did spend, like as a young guy, but I think that's the way he just managed. I've come across him a couple of times since. And he's been sound, like he remembered me and all that. So, he was all right.
Yeah, I think it's just a culture thing, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think, obviously, being a Scouser, everyone's that you can go to the shop and have a conversation for an hour with the fella who works behind the tills, you know what I mean? So, I think that's what you're just used to.
Is there any funny stories from him from back in the day?
I think one time, I remember when I was training with them and Robbie Fowler kicked the ball and he was looking the other way. And it hit him in the face, nearly knocked him out. That was quite funny. That was funny. But other than that, no, I think that happens on the training grounds all the time. Though, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
how did that go down?
I don't think he was too happy. Like, I don't think he was too happy. It was just one of them moments where everyone just stops and like don't know whether to laugh or do you know what I mean? But me as a young lad, like I couldn't be seen to be laughing. Imagine that.
Do you know when it comes to leaving the club, how did you find out it was all going to happen? Because obviously, I can imagine if you're not from Liverpool, it doesn't feel as painful really. But being a Scouser and getting told that the club is selling you, or how did it come about?
It was weird really, because I went out on loan after I played them games. I went out on loan, and I went to Hull first, and then at the end of my spell at Hull, it was only because at the time you could do emergency loans. It was only an emergency loan, and I think I played the back end like 6-7 games at Hull, and I loved it. And he was talking me going after that loan spell back to Hull, but didn't materialise. And when I went back for pre-season, done the pre-season with the first team and that, and then it was just like, oh yeah, you can go on loan. So done another loan spell at Yeovil. At first it was a 6-month loan, and then after the 6 months, I was just told like basically Yeovil want to buy you and we're happy to sell you. So it was it just happened so quick. Didn't really get a chance to think about it really. It was just like, oh yeah, you've left Liverpool, and then as I say, because my family and all that are still there, I was always in Liverpool, so it was just weird, yeah.
I've noticed, I've checked most of your clubs out, and I've seen a couple of podcasts with you on, and it seems like you follow Neil Warnock about.
Yeah.
So what's the relationship with him? Why does he trust you as much as he does?
I just think because I've done well for him. I've had success with him. We've been promoted together. We've had some good times together, and he's one of them fellas. If you do well by him, he stands by you, sort of thing. He knows what he's getting. He trusts you. But yeah, we had some good times. Had some great times. Yeah.
Is he as mad as he looks?
Do you know what he is? But he's funny. He's proper funny. He's a genius. You can see what he's just done at Huddersfield now.
I know.
He's got to go down as one of the all-time managers of his era, considering what he's just done. But yeah, he's a great fella. Honestly, he's a proper fella. Yeah.
How do you think he's done that? Because obviously you've spent time at Huddersfield and you've probably seen how the bad situation that they were in. How's he done that? Because they looked dead and buried, didn't they?
Honestly, mate, I thought they were dead and buried myself, and I thought, Gaffer, don't go. It's one too much for you. Like it's a bit too much for you, because they were in a terrible, terrible place. And obviously he's gone in there, and people ask me how does he do it, and you just can't put your finger on it, because doesn't do that much on the training pitch. I think it's more his man management skills. Like he gets everyone on side. He builds up a good relationship with all the players, and you just want to go to war with him. And he's one of them, as I say. If he trusts you, you can't do any wrong by him. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, he's done absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, it's mad where they've come and where they are
honestly,
now.
Yeah.
I was watching your 10 Pint podcast the other day, and I've been on there with the lads, and did a good laugh. And I seen a story when you was at Leeds about Brian McDermott at half time. So do us a favour, run through that story for anyone that hasn't heard it.
I can't even remember who we were playing. Can't remember, but we were getting pumped at half time. Must have been about 4-0 or something. And we got in the changing rooms, and he pulled me off. And obviously I was fuming. I went like, it was 4-0. It was a bad game, you know what I mean? He had to do something, but I was fuming that he pulled me off. So he just said, you're coming off. And obviously out of anger, I've just had my head down and taken my boots off, and then I've just slammed the boot on the floor, and I didn't realise I've just slammed it dead hard, and it just bounced up, and it hit him like on the shoulder, and I've just looked up, and he's looked at me, and I thought, shit, like I didn't mean it at all. Do you know what I mean? But obviously we had words after the game and all that about it, but as I said, it weren't meant at all, but it's just one of them things.
Well, how was it being at Leeds? Obviously, it's back in the day more so than now. They're a massive rival of Liverpool, United, and all the bigger clubs. Was the pressure there, even though you weren't in the Premier League at the time?
Yeah, definitely. It's a massive club. I say I didn't realise how big of a club it was. It's backed massively by the fans. They've got a great training ground set up, and a great stadium. Everything. It's a big club. Do you know what I mean? You put it in probably top 6 clubs in England, just with the history and everything of it. So yeah, the fans they expected success, and obviously they went through a bad period of time when they were changing over hands from Ken Bates and stuff like that. But obviously they've had a few seasons in the Premier League now, which they sort of sustained themselves. So I know they're in a relegation battle now, but hopefully they can stay up.
When you was there, was they going through the change of the ownerships? Because it looked like it was just chaos.
Yeah, it was. They were going through. I think they got bought by some Dubai-based company, GFH or something like that. I can't remember what it was called, but anyway, it was all madness. Like they bought it, but actually didn't have any money to put into the club. So then they sold it to that Massimo Cellino, who was a madman. And then he come in and just went mad and done all his own things, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it was, he just got rid of everyone, brought his own players in. He was like sacking players because of the number they wore. He was just dead superstitious. Honestly, he was mad. You couldn't write it, some of the things he was doing up there. But obviously he left, and then these owners have come in now, and it looks like they've done well with the club.
A couple of years back, he was at, a couple of years, it feels like yesterday. You're at West Brom.
Yeah.
It didn't work out as well as you'd wanted in the end. You're on the bench not only as a West Brom player, but as a Liverpool fan.
Yeah, I know.
What was it like when that Alisson header went in?
It was a strange feeling because it was like a oh my God moment, wasn't it? It was like, that was absolutely unbelievable. And obviously I'm on the opposite side, so I couldn't be seen to like stand up. And if I was in my house, I would have been going mad, or like, you know what I mean, if it was against anyone else. But I remember when he was going up, he was walking up for the corner, he was jogging up, and I was speaking to one of the coaches, and he was actually talking to me about football's mad because Liverpool battered us at the time, and I think it was 0-0 or 1-1. We were drawing anyway, and he was like, "It's crazy, innit? Like they've been all over us, and we're going to come away with a point." And I was like, yeah, it's crazy. And as we're speaking about it, the corner's coming in, and you could just see the space appear for him, and he's just jumped up and he's just absolutely banged it in, and we just both looked at each other and went, "Oh my God!" It was like surreal to be there, but it was mad because obviously it was lockdown and there was no fans in the stadium at the time. So you can only imagine if there were fans and that in the stadium, it would have went absolutely mental, wouldn't it? But it was unbelievable to see it live, actually. Yeah.
What was Allardyce like after that in the changes?
I can't remember what he said, but he was sound. I got on with him. He was a sound fella. He was a bit similar to Warnock.
Oh really?
Yeah, sort of like what you get is what you see, like sort of thing, like straight to the point. I got on with him, and he was with Sammy Lee there, who we know well. So I got on with the pair of them really well. And obviously he didn't have that much time to keep us up, but he tried his best.
Do you think he's going to keep Leeds up?
I think it's a big ask, but they've tried everything, haven't they? And if anyone can do it, him or Warnock.
True. Do you know when you just touching on lockdown as well, as a fan, it was obviously grim for us to sit there watching it on the telly all the time and stuff like that. Yeah. But as a player, does it add to the occasion when you've got fans in the ground? Obviously, it does in the massive games and stuff, but how was it going in there knowing it was empty? Yeah,
it was mad. It was mad. I didn't enjoy it at all. As people say, I know it's a cliche, but fans make football, and it's true. You want to go out and perform in front of people. You're going out in front of no one in like 60. I remember we went to Tottenham and the stadium just been done, and it was not a single person in there, so it was just like weird feelings, you know what I mean, where you can imagine full house in there, the electric. Yeah, weren't the same, didn't enjoy it at all. You need the atmosphere in there, and it just gives you that little bit of fire in your belly. And I know you should be motivated to go out and play whatever, but when you're used to having fans and that in there, it's totally different.
Do you feel that wasted the experience at Tottenham? Because I went there early in the season. That ground is unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I would have loved it. Like, I haven't been there while it's been full. So obviously it was wasted time. It's not wasted because I can say I played there, but I haven't really played there, have I? Like properly in front of a full house, which would be amazing. But as you said, the stadium's actually unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you know? So you're at Rotherham now.
Yeah.
How long's your contract at Rotherham for?
My contract's up.
Okay.
Yeah, I've just finished a year. I only done a year because of my age and that now. It's one of them where you just go on year by year and see where it takes you. But finished now, but we had a great season, done what we set out to achieve and staying up and giving the club a bit of structure for next season in the Championship, which is going to be a really, really tough league next season with the teams coming down. and the team's coming up from League One.
Yeah.
So, they're in a good place. They've got a good manager in place that's really good. I like him. And I think the club's in good hands with him.
What's the plan for you now, then?
Do you know what? I've just finished. So I'm just going to have a little bit of time out to let the dust settle, because it's so hard to make decisions when you're just literally finishing. You need a little bit of time to yourself and to reflect, to see if you still want to play. Yeah, so I'll have a bit of time. I'll have a little holiday with the family and stuff like that. And we'll see what happens. I mean, the phone's still ringing, so still got options, which is nice.
Yeah.
But we'll just I'll have a couple of weeks to myself and then look back at it and see.
How's the body coping then? Obviously, 36 now, is that right?
36, 37 this year, yeah. The body's all right, I don't know. I'm just lucky to have good genetics, I think. Honestly, this season I've done 35 games in the Championship, which is a relentless league.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've had little niggles here and there, which is totally normal. But I feel good. I've always kept myself in good shape, though. I always work out and stuff like that. And as I said, I think lucky enough I have good genetics to go with that. I don't really feel like I'm slow. Obviously, I'm slowing down, but not the way I would have thought. Because people say at 35, that's it, you're done.
Yeah.
But no, I don't feel like that at all. I feel I can still keep going. I think it's more of a mindset, a mental state, if you want to keep playing.
Yeah.
Because my body still feels good, and as I said, I've always kept myself in a good place with my body. So yeah, we'll see. I'll keep training all through. I'll have a couple of weeks off, but I'll keep ticking away, just in case I do go back.
So have you been playing right back for Rotherham, or have you moved central now?
No, I've been playing both. So we played a back three for a bit. Okay. So I was playing right of a three. Played a lot of games right back, and I've also played centre back as well. So just anywhere along the line really. But as I say, I still feel fit and I can get about. I'm still quite quick and stuff like that. Not as quick as I used to be, but I can still get about. And as I say, my body's coping. I know it won't cope for that much longer, but while it is, I'm going to enjoy it.
Definitely. So just while we touch on your position then, as a right back, obviously you've dealt with some probably unbelievable players yourself, but what do you feel like in terms of the criticism of Trent and his positioning and being on the right himself? Because I feel like it can be justified at times, but he gets a lot of stick considering there's probably players in his position in the league that are underperforming as well.
Yeah, I think he's just had a bad season. Like as the past 3 or 4 seasons, he's played right back and he's done all right. Do you know what I mean? I know he is a bit suspect at times, but you can't have it all your own way, like going forward, because he's an absolutely amazing talent. Like what he does with the ball is unbelievable. He's one of the only right backs I've seen dictate a game from right back. Like everything goes through him. Do you know what I mean? Even the past 4 or 5 years, everything's gone through him in terms of assists and whatever. And the same goes for Andy Robertson a bit. People have them seasons, you know what I mean? They're not machines, they're not robots, they're human beings, and things like that happen. You have bad times, and you forget he's still relatively young as well. Do you know what I mean? To achieve what he's achieved in his career and the level he's been playing at is unbelievable. He is going to have a little bit of dip, like everybody has a dip at some point, but I know he'll get back to where he wants to be. I think he's just lucky that he has been poor defensively, but his attacking play has been really good.
Yeah.
So, do you know what I mean? I know a couple of years ago or last season or whatever, I think he had the balance of both. He was decent defensively, and then his attacking play was really good. So the whole team done well in general, and the whole team haven't done well this season. So I don't think it's just down to him. I think it's just a general thing. I mean, the levels they've been playing at is 4 or 5 years. Listen, as a footballer, I know what they've been going through. I know what the demands on the body and stuff like that. They had the World Cup, straight from the World Cup to back playing. Yeah. It's a lot. And then you forget about the family life and stuff like that, which could be stressful at times, people who've got kids or whatever. It is a lot for them. But as I say, like, I have no worries about him. I just think he's had a poor season defensively, that's it.
Would you say he was a right back going forward, or would you say he'll transition into the midfield permanently if we get a right back?
I don't know. Listen, I like him. I think he's been sensational at right back. He's been one of the best right backs in the world. And I don't know his passing ability is great and stuff like that. And to play in midfield, it's hard to say because I'd have to see him in there properly. I know he's at the minute he's fluttering in and out, but it's just sort of a hybrid position at the minute, and he's coming in and out. But as an actual midfielder, I know he used to play there as a kid, but it's probably different when you're coming up against the big boys. Do you know what I mean? Like, the proper big boys in midfield who dictate games and absolute monsters. So for me, I think he's a right back. He's absolutely world-class right back. He's not just a right back, he's unbelievable. As I said, I think he's just had a poor season defensively. I think he's been targeted a lot. And when you're getting targeted a lot, listen, people are going to beat you. That's the best defenders in the world. They're going to beat you. It happens. But I think it's highlighted a lot when it's him making mistakes or whatever. As you said before, there's other players that aren't playing as well. But just because of the levels that Trent's been playing at, it's more noticeable, do you know what I mean? And it's Liverpool, and everyone hates Liverpool, do you know what I mean? So, for me, he's a world-class right back.
Yeah, I'd like to see him stay right back personally, but I just feel like we need to find a solution to helping him out more than moving his position. As much as his hybrid position's quality at the minute, we need to work a solution out to help him.
I think when you look at when they were successful, I think it was always Trent and Henderson on that side sort of thing. I know you had Salah, but Trent always had Henderson like helping him, backing him up, covering for him, even when he went fit. And that's what I'm saying. Henderson hasn't had a great season. So from what Henderson was doing, he's not doing that to help Trent. But as I say, as a right back individually, I know the game's changed, but first and foremost, you've got to be able to defend 1v1. Do you know what I mean? And he hasn't done that greatly this season. There's some games, though, I've watched them and I've gone, bloody hell, you've done well there, do you know what I mean? And you can see he's trying to prove a point. But as I said, listen, you're not going to get the best of everything, are you? Do you know what I mean? Like, you look at Kyle Walker, who's probably the best right back at the minute, but that's just because of his defensive capabilities, you know what I mean? Like, no one goes by him. If he goes up the pitch, he can't cross.
Yeah,
or he can't get the assist that Trent gets. So it's horses for courses.
You can't have the best of both worlds, can you?
Exactly, yeah. So it is what it is. Do you know what I mean? And as I say, for me, he's a world-class right back. And I think with a good rest this summer, good pre-season, I think he'll be back to his best.
Do you think we're getting top four or what?
Do you know what? I think we will. I've just got a little feeling. I mean, what they've done and where they've come back from has been really good, to be fair. And I think, like, the players are in form at the right time. You'd sense Fabinho, Virgil's playing better. Do you know what I mean? Konate's been playing well. Salah's scoring goals. I think Darwin's not been great, but do you know what I mean? He's still a threat. But I just think they're all in a good place at the minute. And I think it's better chasing someone than actually being in there. So they're chasing the pack down and they've made up the ground again. Unbelievably, yeah.
So and they're having a good time in Barca there on the Isle. Seen them last night.
I know, seen that. But they deserve it, mate. It's a long old season, you know what I mean? As I said, I know the demands firsthand, especially at that level as well. The demands it takes out of you and the commitment you have to put in. I know people say they get paid this, that, the other, but it's still hard work, do you know what I mean? You've got to take that out of the equation. They're still working and grafting the backsides off. Yeah, so it's deserved. Nice little break for them.
I always wonder on that one, the money side of things. Obviously, it's not the players' fault that the money's so heavily involved in the game, is it? So it's just an unfair criticism at times, isn't it?
Definitely. Listen, if you worked in Tesco and someone said, "Yeah, there's more money," you're gonna take it, aren't you?
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's one of them. Like I get what people say and that, but at the end of the day, the clubs pay them. Do you know what I mean? They're the ones who are setting the levels of the structures of the wages and stuff like that. So you can't blame anyone for getting what they want out of it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And especially if they're performing and they deserve it, then fair play to them.
We are now going to do a quick fire round with our guests. This could be very controversial.
Best ground you've played in other than Anfield?
That's so fun, that. Mate, do you know what? I think I played at every ground from Prem to League One.
Really, yeah? That's some going.
Yeah. I think I've done most grounds in the Football League. I want to say Tottenham, but as I said, the atmosphere in that weren't there.
Yeah.
Old Trafford.
Okay.
Yeah. Played that there where it's been a full house and it was really good. Yeah, scored the winner actually.
Did you? Yeah.
Yeah, in the penalty
great.
shootout in the FA Cup. Yeah.
Love that. Best player you've played with?
Got to be Steven Gerrard, innit? I know it's an easy one. Steven Gerrard, hands down, best player by a mile.
Obviously, we've seen him as fans, and he's everything to us. Does he set the demand in training every single day?
Ridiculous. Levels are just so high. It's just elite mentality. Absolutely. When I look back at it now and I think of the things he was doing then, unbelievable. Like I got to see it firsthand in training. Standards are so high. Like he weren't one of them who'd shout at people and that. He'd just do it. He'd let you know by just showing you. You know, in training, his levels were just unbelievable.
Okay, the best player you've played against?
I have to go Hazard.
In his prime? Was he in his prime when he was in the Prem?
In his prime, Chelsea, yeah. Ridiculous, mate. I thought I could just bully him because he was so small and that, but he's stronger than anything ever, mate, and he's so fast. Just couldn't not get near him. Absolutely ridiculous. It's
a shame what's happened to him, innit? At Real.
I know, yeah. I just don't know. It's mad. It's mad, innit?
Okay, the best game you've played in?
That's a tough one, that. None really played that many games. I can't really. Probably the Champions League, Galatasaray. I know we got beat, but for a moment, for myself, it was absolutely surreal. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was unbelievable. A lad from Liverpool, from Toxteth, playing in the Champions League in Istanbul. Ridiculous. I look back at it now.
Hostile?
Yeah, it was really hostile. Yeah, the atmosphere was great. So I'd have to say that. Yeah.
Okay, and last, your advice for any youngster coming through the pro ranks?
Just be the best you can be. Enjoy it. Work hard. Don't look back at things and have any excuses for not getting to where you want to be. It's all never, and another thing, never dream too big. Do you know what I mean? Like, set your standards really high, and you just never know what can happen.
Brilliant, that, mate. Nice one for that.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Thanks for joining us today, Lee. Appreciate your time, mate, and I know you've got a load on yourself. So
yeah.
Good luck with whatever decision you take next, and have a good few weeks off regardless.
Nice one, bud. Cheers.
Nice one, mate.
Cheers, mate. Take care.
Ta-ra now.
Thanks to everyone for listening in to today's podcast, and thank you to our amazing guests. Without them, this wouldn't be possible. Don't forget to follow us on social media, twitter.com/The Road End Pod, and on Instagram, Instagram/The Road End Pod.